Here we are, hitting up events, drinking our way through Chicago beer, and trying not to miss a thing.
Yeah, because, the cork popped out, boom, it flies like fucking 10 feet. We're like, yeah, let's do it.
All you have to do is add some fruit, stir it up, and ride that milk-shaped wave.
Whenever I see him, I gotta take a photo with the most decorated brewer in Chicago, Jonathan Cuppa.
It'll be like the stuff you hear. You ever go to, every time you go to Floyd's, all the music sounds like this. Raw, raw, raw.
Sometimes you want a small beer, but really, you want a big beer.
You gotta take in all those big aromatic hops.
Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Waiting in line for a bottle release?
You should have never been a fad. The black IPA is delicious.
Hey, and welcome to Chicago Beer Pass. I'm Brad Chmielewski,
Brad, I'm Nik White.
and we've had almost like a month off. Episodes have been a mess. We're getting into the holidays, traveling, vacations. Nick's been running all over the city.
Yeah, man. Just trying to stay busy, man. Drowning all my emotions in local beverages for you all.
All right.
Yeah.
Since I was gone in Italy, I have so many questions about the things that happened in Chicago beer while I was gone. But let's first talk about what we're drinking here, which is something that you drank at FOBAB, or one of these at FOBAB. And so we'll be getting into FOBAB here in a minute. What do we got?
Yeah, man. Shout out to the good folks at Maplewood. The Maple Room is always a fun stop. Stopped in there before I saw Wakanda Forever. This is barrel-aged Cuppa. So barrel-aged Cuppa looks like a 2-pack this year. And I think previous years it was like 4-pack.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've got, I hope I don't spill it, vanilla rye. And then the other one is, what is it?
Cinnamon double coconut.
Yeah. So vanilla rye is 13%. It's got vanilla, cacao, and it's made with Hex coffee. Now, I've heard of Hex coffee. This is the coffee shop by the Costco. I don't know if you've been to Costco lately.
Oh, the one on the corner.
Right, it's right there. Hex
that's
coffee.
good.
But
They do good.
Okay.
This is also blended from Sazerac barrels, aged for 12 months in those.
So Sazerac is a Buffalo Trace product. Yeah.
The cinnamon double coconut was in rum cask for 4 years.
Really?
It says aged in rum cask for 4 years, then blend it with Woodford Reserve,
Man.
Wild Turkey, and Maplewood whiskey barrels, aged for 12 months.
They're really
4 years is a...
That's extended aging. That's not something you really hear,
Right.
Like usually if a Rev or a Goose product in packaging, the oldest it'll be is 2 years.
Yeah, because you're just sitting. It's taking up space. It's costing you X dollars every day.
Yeah. I had a really good barley wine that had been aged for like 3-4 years. Last time I saw Chris Jacobson at his place, it was from the guy who left Perennial Side Project.
Okay.
He had a barley wine, and it was aged like 3 or 4 years. And I was just like you said, it's not something you typically hear. There's a Bigfoot out that's aged 7 years in fucking E.H. Taylor barrels.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's not something I wouldn't say that's common.
No.
That's pretty long.
So you had the vanilla rye at FOBAB?
No, I had the other one, the cinnamon one. It was weird because at FOBAB, the cinnamon coconut Cuppa was next to the 2X benthic.
Okay.
Which was like double the coconut, double the coffee or whatever.
Which was that the one we had last year that we loved? Was it double A?
Yeah, I think it might have been called something else.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So right away there's a line for both of those. So I'm like, well, let's not fuck around, right? Let's just get the ones where you got to wait for them. So these were the first two I had.
Okay. Before we get into FOBAB, this package, is this how it comes, or was this just for us? Or
Well, I was at Maplewood and I'm just wasting time. I was trying to go to On and Engine, but they were closed. So at Maplewood, you saw people leaving with that package.
Okay.
Who had ordered it pre-ordered it.
Okay.
So I think that's how it arrived. I don't think that's a preview package.
It's nice, but it also is... Why?
It's also why. I mean, well, because I think this box. Okay, so there's a box that comes apart and it's got 2 holes in it, right?
Yeah.
And it's all black and gold. It's very nice, but the can is not. The can doesn't symbolize there's something fancy in here.
Yeah.
Right. This is the same kind of blank
That's true.
can
Okay.
with the sticker label on it. You know, compared to the Rev stuff where it's like a printed can. So maybe they're trying to indicate that it's fancy by putting it in this box.
I feel like there should be a cup in here though with it. Like it feels like there's a feature that's missing. Like you should have got something else, even if it's like a gold keychain or something that would just
a little jacket that tells you about this stuff.
Yeah,
something.
And it's nothing's printed on. It's printed on these little like labels on the side, but maybe like some sort of card. But this is kind of an interesting package.
Maybe it's down bottom. No.
No.
Okay.
Cardboard. All right, but we're gonna sip on this one, and we'll probably open up the other one because I want to see. And this is
We're very critical and inquisitive about the how this thing arrived.
well, we talked about the boxes at the Goose Island tasting,
Yeah.
and we're like, these are nice,
Yeah.
but you just end up ripping them apart. And if you're one of those people that like collect the things or want to put it up, you'll keep it nice. Everyone else is just like rip like a Christmas present. You're like,
Pretty much.
give me the thing inside,
Right. Pretty
and then give me the thing inside the bottle, because that's what I want.
Yeah. Side note on Goose, I'm glad they didn't have a box, then a bag. Last year there was a box with a bag, and then the bottle was in the bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this beer is nice. Maybe we even talk about the actual beer. It's nice. I have not had a 13% beer in probably 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Well, not a long time since 13% beer. It's been a long time since I had a Cuppa. And honestly, there were a few years I was out on Cuppa. I thought it was too dense, too rich, a little too sweet for me.
Okay.
But this, I feel like, they capture some of the old, density of the old Cuppa, but I don't feel overwhelmed with dessert qualities here. I feel like I get a little more barrel, a little more like vanilla. I get these other things, and it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel as syrupy as yours
Right.
does.
I kind of wish I had the coffee with it.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah.
I'd spike it right now if there was if we had the Hex coffee. That would have been a nice addition. Just have a little can of Hex coffee because I've never had Hex.
Right.
So
Did you see? I posted a picture on our story. There's Deepwood's little cold coffees from Dark Matter. That they just have all the Deepwood's branding on them. They're not barrel aged. There's no booze in them.
It's
I
just
think
coffee.
It's the coffee that was used in the Deepwoods.
I like that because I've seen the beans, but I didn't know there were cold coffees as well.
They're super cute.
Yeah, they're cute. And then, I like spiking my beer with coffee.
Okay, so we're gonna sip on this. We'll get in the other one here in a minute. FOBAB. I missed this. I left on a Friday night, and FOBAB was I think Saturday. That Saturday.
Brad was gone. I was rocking my Beer Buddies t-shirt. Had to rep. And this was the 20th anniversary of FOBAB. So Pete Crowley was the MC this year. So Katie, who was the MC last year, she kind of introduced Pete. Well, before that, before Pete kicked off the awards, the President Guild, the exec director, basically the old Justin Maynard role, is Ray Stout, and then Katie, who was last year's MC. They came up and presented this, it was kind of like a FOBAB Hall of Fame, if you will.
Oh,
right.
cool.
So they gave long-standing members of the guild and the Beer Society and volunteers these awards.
Yeah.
Kind of like the exact same awards that the brewers would get. So Steve Hamburg and who's the crow and the sparrow? Jeff Sparrow, and a couple other guys that you've seen. The old school fellas with the blue jeans and the t-shirts tucked in the blue jeans.
Their belly is sticking out.
Those guys.
Yeah. Okay.
And that was a thing, and then and then Marty Scott. Actually, Marty Scott was there, and he kind of kicked that off and introduced Pete.
Okay.
Yeah. So you had those things. That was different. What else was different? Phase 3 was out. You know how Phase 3 had the big lounge upstairs? That was replaced by a lager lounge.
Just general lager.
Just lagers.
Non-branded.
It was breweries were up there.
But not branded by
Correct. It wasn't a powered by microphone.
Dovetail. Yeah.
Right. It wasn't.
Okay.
It was just the lager lounge.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it had different lagers from people.
Right. It's funny. We ran into the lady from Roaring Table. And she's like, it's funny because when you go up there, there's like 4 breweries and only one of them is really known for making lagers.
Who was up there?
Goldfinger.
Okay.
And the others were like, Microphone and who else? Like, like other producers who make lagers, but they're not known for lagers.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think Metro isn't part of the guild.
No.
And so I don't think they go to FOBAB anymore. Which maybe they've submitted stuff in the past, but I don't think they'd be asked to do that kind of feature, right?
Right. And then shout out to Maplewood, by the way, because they won not Maplewood, but
Metro?
They won a medal for their Doppelbock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Doppelbock aged in the Judson and Moore barrels,
Okay.
which is the brewery or distillery next door.
Maybe they're now a guild member, but I don't know.
So that was gone. And while we're in the lager lounge, some guys were saying like it's a really steep price point if you want to have a brewery to brand that space. So that's why you probably didn't see one crew in there, So that was different. But other than that, it was the same layout.
Okay.
I feel like
Goose outside?
Goose was outside, and then this time around, Goose had a bunch of picnic tables.
Okay.
So
Well, it was super warm, right?
Oh man, it was nice. It was nice. Yeah, they did tappings every hour, sort of thing.
Okay.
I think barley wine I got barley wine, but other than that, I think it was just I had OG out there.
Oh, okay.
And what else? I don't remember anything else flowing. Oh, coffee.
No prop?
I didn't see prop. So, yeah, 20th anniversary of FOBAB. It's funny. One other note, I ran into Trevor, former guest on the show, Trevor from Old Urban.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were upstairs getting like something from Cerebral, and I'm like, you were the dark horse when we were deciding who was gonna, move into that space. And he's like, yeah, I kind of got a kick out of everyone guessing, everyone except for us. He got a kick out of that. Oh, but then he said he has no plans on making it a restaurant.
Or a tap room?
Or a tap room.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's just going to be production. Yeah.
Oh, then what was that? It was Josh Knoll's story that said maybe in the following year they may look to do this.
Yeah, he said he
It's
just
a lie. It's fake news.
he said he just wants to focus on production. Okay. Yeah, I imagine he'll be lured into having it be a destination, right?
Right.
I imagine that, but he said definitely not a restaurant, and
Right.
And really just focusing on production. He didn't even really think about having it be a tap room.
Okay.
So that was interesting. Yeah, so cheers to him.
What were some highlights from FOBAB winners? What did I really miss?
Right.
Did I miss?
Well-
Did I miss out, or did it feel like the same thing?
I feel like it's FOBAB, right? Like if you've been to FOBAB, you know what to expect, right? You're gonna see everyone you've ever met in beer, and then the best part is the awards.
Except for me.
They had these kind of like Irish coffee mugs, which were nice.
Oh, okay.
That was this year's cup. The Lost Abbey won Best in Show. The Lost Abbey won Best in Show for Duck Duck Goes. Yeah. It was 20th anniversary. Duck Duck Goes, what's funny about Duck Duck Goes? Only time I've ever seen it was at fucking JBF. There was a Girl and a Goat after party. Gary Valentine and Iron Chef Stephanie, hosted it at this house they were renting.
Yeah.
So you kind of got this, what do you call it, like a long table in the backyard. Stephanie's serving dishes. And I'm sitting with a bunch of judges from JBF, and Duck Duck Goes comes out. And it's a whale for a lot of people. And the conversation was, this beer doesn't fit any stylistic points, and it wouldn't do well if we were judging it as a JBF judge.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was funny. But FOBAB judging is a little different.
Right, but they gotta know what it is. Like it's sort of like Steve Hamburg talked about this a long time ago about Bourbon County Stout winning at even FOBAB or GABF. Everyone knows what it tastes like.
Yeah.
So you almost rank it lower. But Duck Duck Goes, everyone knows what it tastes like. But are they ranking it higher because that's the only time they get to have it, and they're like, yes.
It's funny. If there was a line for Maplewood and a line for Half Acre, this beer Duck Duck Goes, if it were pouring, there would have been a line for it, no question.
But it's not pouring?
I didn't see it at all.
It had to have been pouring.
I mean, that's what I said. So then I saw the Malting Hour guys. I asked them if they saw it on the floor. ABV Chicago, I saw them there. I saw them at Temperance too. I'm like, did you see this on the floor? And I don't know anyone that saw it on the floor. So I thought that was bizarre. It was a 20th anniversary. No, they just called Anniversary Blend. Duck Duck Goes Anniversary Blend. It won a gold, and then it won Best in Show.
You have to be there in some capacity. You can't just submit a beer for an award and not
And to make it
be
even,
there?
to your point, when you know how the award show's usually over at 3, you got 2 more hours before the whole thing closes down. So after the awards, they go out of their way to slap the names of the beers with stickers, so you
Yeah.
know who to go drink that won. I still didn't see it, so maybe it was just me.
It probably would have been a weird spot. It would have been bottles
Probably,
somewhere.
yeah. It would have been in there's 9 categories, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so the Lost Abbey won Best in Show, and then Sun King won runner up for Caramel Apple Tripel. Man, Sun King won 3 times this year.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Cheers to Ravinia. These boys, they won for other pale beer. So it was a cedar, if I got this right, it's a cedar oak aged version of their IPA. Yeah. So
Okay.
I think that was a highlight for me because I was happy to see the Ravinia guys, saw them right there. We stopped and took pictures, and I was really kind of happy for them because they're cool dudes, and then they're fucking rolling. They follow up a JBF bronze with a FOBAB gold.
That's true.
That's, pretty fun stuff. One of the volunteers pointed me in the direction of Bottle Logic and to a beer called Return to Saturn. So that might have been my favorite beer.
Nice.
It was a specialty experimental, 12%, just super weird kind of cocktail, bright
Okay.
thing. It was kind of weird and really delicious. I went back a few times for that. Microphone took a gold for Double LP, their collaboration with Goose.
Oh, okay.
So if I remember this correctly, Microphones was side B, and side B was the barley wine, and Goose made a stout.
Yeah.
And the barley wine was made with, it was aged in Heaven Hill barrels at Microphone with Bourbon County yeast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be blended together, but when we had this at Goose Clybourne, we said the microphone one is better on its own.
It was way better.
The Goose one is like whatever, and Goose comes up and be like, "No, you're supposed to blend it. Don't judge us on our beer." It's like, yeah, but now microphone one. So
Microphone took a
you
gold.
guys what? You phoned it in,
You know-
or you helped to enhance the blending process?
Yeah. It's funny. So Microphone insisted that it was a collab because they announced it as Microphone. They said, no, it's a collab with Goose. So then the Goose guys came up
Nice.
and
Okay.
accepted the award. And I think that was a class act, but then also it's great. It's a great adjunct, right? Goose is because Microphone for the Goose version, Microphone said, hey, we have this really cool chocolate or something that we use. Why don't you put that in your stout? And they were like, what should we put in our stout? And I was like, we don't have any adjuncts for you, but you can use our yeast strain.
Yeah.
And then it ends up taking a gold, so that's pretty cool.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So that was a highlight for me. What else? Smiley Brothers. Smiley Brothers took a gold in other dark beer for the same beer they won for last year. It's a rum barrel aged Belgian strong ale.
So they won last year for that, right?
Yeah.
And I do remember, I feel like we're standing around Zoller and other people be like, does anyone drink this?
Right before they closed for good over in Lincoln Park, I had that beer on draft. It was delicious, but FOBAB medals do not constitute keeping a brewery in business.
Empirical.
Empirical is another example.
Yeah.
Our guy, Urban
Brew
Renewal,
Labs.
Urban Brew Labs.
Yeah.
The artist formerly known as Urban Renewal.
Yeah.
FOBAB medal does not necessarily keep the lights on. But yeah, it was cool, man. Cheers to Alter. They took a gold. Yeah, a lot of Illinois representation on the medals. Workforce, back to their winning ways. Barrel aged chocolate, vanilla, rye, sleepy beer, also medaled. So it was fun. It was fun to see a bunch of locals on the stage. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would give you a medal count, but then I got to count them. So then there'll be radio silence.
Yeah.
But
All right. Well, I'm jumping into the cinnamon double coconut that Nick had at FOBAB. No surprise that you would have went for the coconut version of this.
yeah.
So
And cheers to our guy. He listens to the show a lot, man. I ran into him for the first time. In fact, he took a picture of me when I was raising my shirt. He used to work in Moore, but he doesn't work in Moore anymore. And he now he works at Miller High Life.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I was looking in our
I feel like if I saw the name or Twitter.
Chuck. Yeah. Cheers to Chuck Erschbach.
Oh yeah.
That guy. Yeah. I met him at FOBAB.
Nice.
So that was cool.
Awesome. I'm gonna go out. I think I like the vanilla better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was nice.
4 years, too long. 1 year, too long for me. I prefer a 3 year.
Yeah. You run into the danger of just being super oaked after a 4-year run.
No, oh yeah, it was rum casks for 4 years.
Interesting. I'm gonna let it warm up. The first sip, I lean more the vanilla rye as well.
I'm like missing. Where's the coconut? Like, where is the coconut? That's the theme of the year. Where is the coconut?
You gotta quit fucking around with this coconut. We had this issue when Brad brought coconuts to the super massive coconut cafe. D.
Yeah.
You know, you're calling it super massive coconut, and then we're wondering if we got the wrong one because we didn't get the coconut. This has fresh coconut and toasted coconut in it. You know.
Where is it?
If I was a Viking, I'd throw this beer. If I was a Viking at a beer hall, I'd throw this beer across the room right now. And say, go bring me some coconut.
Throw it at some peasant.
Go bring me some coconut.
Damn. Man, all right. FOBAB sounded like a pretty good ride.
It was a good hang. The Guild's doing their thing. I think they're dialed in on that space. Ran into our guy from the Hippos, Carl, in the Brewers Lounge, and he said he'd read an article about how Tommy Arthur, who was there to accept the awards for Best in Show, how they're kind of right-sizing their operation. So Pizza Port and the Lost Abbey are kind of in a downsize phase of their business. Yeah, just to kind of just be more honest and streamlined about the product they're making and, you know, just being more resourceful.
I think some of those we saw with Stone just kind of like expanded too fast. I think the Chicago market maybe does a better job where the breweries don't expand very fast, but new breweries open up and you kind of get to test, can someone else succeed kind of thing, and then maybe someone else expands, like the Old Irving or the Pipeworks or whatever it is.
Yeah. So that was cool.
Okay, so that kicked off basically your barrel age run.
It's been a pretty intense run. Yeah, so that was Saturday. Then Monday, you know, I don't think the last time I've been intentionally been to Evanston for drinking was when we recorded our first on-site guest ever was Claudia from Temperance, and Alex Levingood was there. It was the first time we met him. We're on location at Temperance. I want to say it's our first Beer Pass on location guest ever. It was so long ago that there was an episode of the Hopcast that was recorded that night too.
Yeah, this was back-to-back episodes.
Yeah,
that's right.
It was a super long time ago. That's the last time I've been to Evanston on purpose.
Okay.
During the week for some beer. So we went up there for the Might Meets Right preview party. Yeah.
And this is their Temperance's yearly release of adjunct barrel-aged stouts.
Yes.
And I feel like we've had them over the years. They're often hit or misses, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we felt. But then you were talking in the pre-show that these were pretty solid this year.
I was a big fan of what they were doing. I think Brad said it all. You know, I've been up there as, you know, and was just kind of out one year on some of these offerings. I thought they were thin, kind of, oh shit. Whoa, Brad. They were kind of thin and just not my jam. But this year, I think they kind of dialed them in. So let's take a look at what the Temperance lineup has to offer here. So first thing out the gate, they had a barrel-aged one and they had a rye one. And these are all exclusively with infused spirits barrels.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it's the oldest brewery in Evanston. And Evanston's first distillery since Prohibition. Yeah, joining forces for the first time ever. In the past, they used, he said, Sangamore rye barrels. Yeah, which is like a Maryland distillery.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a rye one, and then there's a bourbon one. And then what else is going on here? Rye, bourbon. There's one with coconut and coffee, and it uses Tugboat coffee. Not sure where Tugboat is, but I heard
I think
of
they're
them.
in Evanston. Probably, yeah.
That makes sense. And then they have one called La
It's not Sean Curry. We'll correct this.
La Sorpresa. So La Sorpresa is cinnamon and peppers. Yeah, so it's like their Mexican hot chocolate version. Yeah. I tell you, man, these are all pretty fucking good.
Nice.
You know, it was just consistent across the board, just kind of easy, delicious. And what I will give them credit for is that there was no volatility. You know how like some of the Goose ones or some of these Cruz Blanca ones, you clearly like some more than others. There was a nice kind of uniform, delicious level.
All kind of worked.
You know what I mean? Kind of all of them. So that was cool. Unlike other tastings, there were no mats in front of you and no taster glasses. And, you know, you sample them all. You just kind of hang out in the brew house. You know, they got bags, they got music, and you just kind of go to the makeshift bar and go get whichever one you want. And you do that all night. And everyone's wearing a name tag. So I met
You too?
Yeah.
Okay.
So no, I'm just like I just put Nick on mine. Like, hey, what's up? I'm Nick. You're like, oh, that's cool. I'm with Lucky Door, or yeah. So Baron Bueno was there. Lucky Door was there. Some crew called the Hop Smash, who I had never met before.
Like a blog or podcast?
Yeah, it was like a blog, I think. And who else was there? Oh, Temperance, not Sean Curry, but
I hope Temperance was there.
not Temperance. Goddamn, it's Sketchbook. Yeah, Temperance.
They didn't show up to their own party. No.
Who? ABV Chicago was there. Multinar was there, and Delilah's was there.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of bar. I would say half and half.
Okay.
Half folks that talk about beer and don't make beer. Half folks that sell beer.
Okay.
And a couple people that also make beer.
Nice.
Oh, Double Clutch was there. Everybody was bending his ear because he's the best brewer in the world.
Right.
So he's in the corner. He's holding court. All you see is people laughing super loud at all his jokes, and so I didn't get a chance to catch up with him. But it was a good hang. I love the loose format. There was no real. I think the owner of the joint, Josh Gilbert, kind of got up and said a few words and said, "Hey, we usually do this shit in February, but we realize it's super cold." And we wanted to do it in November and then also do it during the week so people could come out and fuck with it. An industry night, have a proper industry night where
Right.
people would, be interested in coming. So they shifted their whole format to kind of be earlier in the year.
That's probably smart, and I feel like in February is kind of good because people there's too many options right now in November, December. But then again, people are coming off of the holidays. You have that like dry January, and then February happens, and you're like, I don't need more stouts,
It felt like the early days in chasing beer because it was a weeknight and it was people that all work at bars, and it was a very bizarre kind of, Monday night drinking, Tuesday night drinking. It ain't the same as Friday, Saturday night drinking.
Right.
It's a different kind of person that's getting it after it on a Monday night.
Right. An alcoholic.
So it was kind of fun, It was fun. It was, kind of reckless, and it was good, So
Did you just do that, or did you go over to Sketchbook and try their barrel
no,
age?
man, I was done, man. I'm like, let's go get some pizza. Shit.
Okay. Because Sketchbook also, they got their barrel age series.
Yeah, so
comes
I
out.
was talking to Ted about that, and he was saying how they're the same thing you just said. Our barrel age thing came out, and they were kind of comparing launches a little bit, Because I think Temperance, for the first time, if I can recall, the first time that I heard about it, they made an honest attempt to like do like an outreach and say, hey, come fuck with our thing.
Right, and this year's Sketchbook kind of was low key about
Exactly.
theirs.
And they were aware of that. They were like, well, we didn't do that, but maybe it's something we'll consider going forward. Because to be fair, I like Sketchbook, and if they had this kind of exact same layout, I would go.
Right, like there's I'd say a 50% chance I'll go try the Sketchbook, or I'll make it up there to try one. Like we went up there for didn't we? I had the mushroom one, like a few years ago, and interesting flavors that maybe pop up make me like kind of want to roll up there.
Yeah.
But also knowing that, I can have the same one next year, kind of makes you be like, if I don't make it, I'll just go next year.
Yeah. We kind of got a history of Temperance with Josh. So he said he used to be an architect. We were talking about this in the pre-show. He used to be an architect, and he would make additions to people's homes. But then him and his buddies decided that wasn't something they were going to do long, and they were kind of intimidated by the housing recession, so they left. And then he's like, well, I'm from Evanston, and I've always wanted to do something cool here, so let's start a brewery. This was a pet company storage space, a pet supplied storage space. There was a bunch of pet food and shit in there when they got there. So they spent a lot of time revamping it, and they started losing a lot of talent. Claudia came through there. She ended up going to Temperance. She
went to Pipeworks.
Sorry, I've done this again. Yeah, she went to Pipeworks.
No, she didn't go to Pipeworks. She went to
Spiteful. She went to Spiteful. He kind of mentioned someone went to UC Davis, came to their spot, and then went straight to Allagash. So he's like, hey, we're very proud that people come here and go to other places, but they were left with kind of a hole in talent. So they had a head brewer by committee.
Yeah.
And he's like, that doesn't work because everyone, Brad comes on shift and he's like, oh, well, Beechwood Blonde should be like this, instead of making it the way it's supposed to be made.
Right. I think it should have more of this in it.
And since there's no head brewer, and it was harder to control. So he's like, with this time around, you see a designated head brewer, and I think it's affecting, his
The quality of the beer.
yeah,
I do.
consistency.
Consistency.
Yeah.
I do maybe feel like that. There was like a little bit where I feel like I like Temperance, and then it was like, I don't know, I'm not really into this Songbird and what's happening. And then Basement Party came on, and I got back on board.
It's funny. I said, what are you selling the most here? He's like, we sell the fuck out of Basement Party. Basement Party is a top selling beer, followed by the IPA, Gatecrasher, the one that took the medal.
Yeah.
And then he said, after that, it's whatever seasonal hazy's on draft, and then Birdsong. Okay. So in packaging, it's Gatecrasher, the Basement Party, and Birdsong in packaging. But on draft, it's Birdsong and whatever hazy's on. Oh. So when people are at the pub, they like the Belgian True.
The Birdsong just got a can revamp too, which looks really nice.
Yeah. So I think this is year 9 for them, he said.
Oh shit.
So yeah. So it was cool. It was cool to get up there, man. I didn't know what to expect, and it's a Monday night hang. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck we're doing, but it was very fun.
Okay,
I had a good time. So cheers to Temperance, man. I had a good time up there.
So that was Monday. Yeah. Then what'd you have? You had Cruz Blanca. You swung by there. Was that Tuesday?
No, I think that was a little later in the week. That was Saturday. But Benthic was that week too.
Oh, okay.
Deep into the Benthos.
I forgot about Benthic.
I saw the guys. We interviewed Gabriel. I saw Gabriel there.
Yeah.
At the Benthic launch. They were pouring Dark Lord at the Benthic launch. Yeah. Not offended by the Dark Lord.
Okay.
That's most I can say about the Dark Lord. Because when you have it next to the Benthic, you're just like, well,
That's kind of funny that they're pouring it. I feel like that might have to be what Three Floyds does, because no one really cares about your thing anymore.
It's weird, man, because
most people don't really like it.
Yeah. So. It's something that people don't, just the beer on its own. It's something that people do not understand. There's a large segment of people that refer to it as, soy sauce, or I get distinct plum in this thing. It's just like a very weird kind of plum hoisin sauce thing going here.
A huge group of people that just know the legend of Dark Lord and have never maybe had it, or maybe they've had a taste, but to see it on draft somewhere, that's probably a pretty, this was a event. So
it's 11 in the morning. I had no intentions on drinking 4 stouts.
4 Dark Lords.
But I saw Dark Lord. I'm like, well, you know what? Fuck it. I'm already here, and it comes in a 3-ounce option.
Yeah.
So Benthic this year is 4 beers. I think it's always 4 beers. There's a cherry brandy Benthic. There's a 2x4 Benthic, which is double everything. There is a vanilla Benthic, and then there's OG. Right. And then there's a what they call like a sunken treasure or something, which is like an extended age Benthic. Yeah, so like 2-year-old Benthic. Okay. Yeah. So
I never have Benthic unless you bring it for us to try.
We should definitely drink Benthic,
because the releases are either too early or random times, and then it is very expensive too.
Also, that I think it's a 12-pack and you get 5
enchilada, right?
The whole enchilada is a 12-pack, but you're committing like $220 something, right? $206 or $212 or something like that.
Where people if you're getting that, and you want a Goose raffle,
prop day,
and then prop day, you're dropping like $1,000
on fucking barrel-aged beer
that it's hard to drink yourself in one sitting.
You're gonna drink it all year. I think if you get like if I get a Benthic, it's usually one a month, and I drink them all year.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a lot of money, for some fucking beer, when you could just go get a bottle of whiskey,
or a couple cases of Basement Party, and just go.
That beer is so good. What did they say about that beer? It's a collab with somebody.
Really?
Yeah, it was somebody else's idea that they make that beer.
Oh, but not a brewery, or a artist.
It was like either a bar or a brewery. We were getting after it. I gotta go revisit that.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you know Gino from the Gluns days, but there's a Gluns rep named Gino that now works just with Temperance.
Okay.
And he was telling me that. He's like, yeah, this was someone else's idea. That beer's really good. I'm like, Brad's got me drinking that fucking beer. I really dig that beer.
It was one of our best beers of 2021, right?
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how good that lager is. But yeah, deep into the Benthos, man. So a Benthic, at Half Acre Balmoral, 11 o'clock, you can get this flight on draft. But then also they had a bunch of tables in the brewery too.
Oh, cool.
So you could really you could entertain a ton of people in the space just for Benthic. So
Damn.
cheers to those guys, man. I really dig that beer. Well, the base Benthic, OG Benthic, is a coffee coconut imperial stout.
Yeah.
So it really is one of the better local releases every year.
Nice. Okay. So you had that, and then you made it over to Cruz Blanca for their release, and they have like what 5?
Yeah. So
Five or
this is
six?
the.
I'm going back to this vanilla because I think it's better.
I think so too. Yeah. So Cruz Blanca, they did the Luchadors. Is their barrel age program every year.
Okay. And these have not sold. Benthic is definitely sold out, right?
Benthic's gone.
Yeah. But Luchador you can get, and these things linger for a long time.
Yeah. Because when you had it on the show, like last year, it wasn't like the week it came out. Like you went back and kind of,
Yeah.
went and grabbed one. So they dialed back. I think they had 8 or so in the past, but this year was a very tight lineup of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
Yeah. The one that took a gold at FOBAB was Barbosa con Cafe. So this is the one where it's imperial, black and red raspberries, and then it's aged in red wine barrels with metric coffee.
Oh shit.
That one is it's kind of like they describe it as like a Dunkin' jelly donut or a chocolate covered raspberry.
Okay.
But it kind of, this is fresh, but I think as it gets a little age on it, it kind of mimics like a red wine a little bit.
Okay.
It's really good. That's the best. That might be the best one.
All right, you know what? I'm going over that. I'm probably not this weekend, but next weekend. I'll go in on the. I'll go for my small business Saturday. I'll go support
There you
some
go.
Cruz Blanca action.
Little Cruz Blanca action. So there's Tarzan Boy. I think we've had that one. That's the one with the rum barrels, vanilla, banana, and coffee. And they use metric coffee.
Yeah.
So if you're keeping score at home, Cruz Blanca uses metric.
Maplewood uses Hex.
And Tugboat is what Temperance uses.
And then Half Acre uses Dark Matter.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. And Goose uses Intelligentsia. Yeah.
Are we missing? We're missing.
Who are we missing? Who's Rev? Well, Rev's Dark Matter as well, right?
Rev is Dark Matter, yeah.
I don't know whose microphone's using, but I feel like they're using one of these fringe, like suburban crews too.
Okay.
You'd be surprised how many local coffee roasters there are.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost up there with the number of breweries. I'd say there's more than 20 local roasters in the region. Yeah. Tarzan Boy, La Tormenta is their Imperial Pineapple.
Okay.
So, Jacob Sombrano, brewmaster over there, I was asking him, I'm like, did you ever vision it being like this, right? Because he's got some beers that are kind of inspired by everything, like this fucking La Tormenta is an Imperial Pineapple ale, and then they stick it in these rum barrels with Mexican spices. A lot of his stuff is like indigenous to like Native Americans or even like South America or Mexico.
Right.
And he's like, we draw inspiration from everywhere, man. It's not just a coffee. It's not just a cola. It can be a cocktail. It can be an ingredient that kicks off some of these projects.
Yeah.
And that was really cool. My favorite one was the Barbosa con Cafe, but I thought the best one that tasted like beer, because this one kind of tasted like it had a lot of fruit and it was like wine inspired. But the Senior Finito, it's an imperial stout aged in Sagamore rye whiskey barrels with chocolate, mesquite bean, and canela. Yeah. So a mesquite bean comes from the mesquite tree, but it's not like the mesquite spice. So it's not spicy. It doesn't really taste like barbecue chips or anything.
Okay.
It actually is a bean that sometimes is ground into a flour, and people throw it into baked goods. Like they throw it into chocolate, they throw it into cakes, because it kind of smells like cinnamon. It kind of smells like molasses. It imparts like this earthy kind of desserty note that makes it kind of unique. And that's
Okay.
It was weird, man.
That's weird. Yeah. I don't know. You lost me.
That's
I don't
weird.
know.
I like the Senior Finito.
Okay.
Ray Cuvée is the only one that sold out.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Ray Cuvée is a blend of 3 years of the Ray Gordo Stout, and it's got
Yeah, the
Mexican-
Ray Gordo was good.
Yeah,
I think I still have an old one from. But it's got to be like 5 or 6 years now, sitting around.
yeah. He said Ray Cuvée He took a barrel aged stout from 19, 20, and 21 and blended them all, and then added vanilla from all around the world. So you got Tahitian vanilla, you got Madagascar vanilla, and you got Mexican vanilla. So he's really excited about that one because you know how these vanillas really do have different flavors.
Right, yeah.
You can get your birthday cake. Some of them are just kind of fruity and leathery. Some taste like frosting. You know? But you can get, he's like, well, over 6 months in a year, this one's going to be really nice. The way these different vanillas kind of meld.
All right.
So
yeah. I'm going. I gotta go. I'm going. I'll get some bottles. No, they're cans this year, right?
yeah, there's a mixed 4-pack.
Okay.
Yeah. But cheers to them, man. Probably the most unique, probably the most underrated barrel
Right.
program around is probably them. Yeah,
Okay. Was that your run?
I think so.
Anything else? So, who are we missing in the barrel age release of the season now? Like, I think, does that cover everyone, or are we? Because we mentioned sketchbooks,
Yeah.
like Haymarket, Claire's Thirsty.
Yeah, they usually
sometimes comes out around now.
They usually do a barley wine too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they've done a Belgian double in the past.
Right. Who are we missing? Rev. Well, Rev has the next Deep Woods, which we have the cans here.
Yeah, Rev's got the next 3 are Straight Jacket, Rye Way, which is the best beer they make, and VSO Dark Mode.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a milk stout, 2-year-old milk stout.
Pipeworks doesn't do any kind of.
Well, they don't get involved with this hyped release thing.
Yeah.
You can go to Pipeworks, and if you're on their newsletter, I think it's every Tuesday or some shit. Like, just a very random day they just drop.
Oh, Old Irving has the Crumpus
Yeah.
series.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're forgetting a couple of these like one-off places.
Tis the season. There's a lot going on. That's why I'm actually kind of, I'm glad that some of these crews, we're in contact with, and then we can kind of, get a chance to drink them and discuss them because, whether it's, all the places we just named or the ones we're drinking, today, it's easy to get caught. It's easy to get lost in what's coming out. So
Right.
shout out to everybody that reaches out, man, and, gives us an opportunity to try this stuff because a lot of times it's really good, and sometimes you can get lost in the shuffle if we don't get to try it.
And then Phase 3 doesn't have. They do one in the earlier in the year. Like they're weird on their like when it's not this time of year.
I would say Cruise Light Microphone and Phase 3 are
Always
new school, and it's all year long.
Yeah.
We're
Or
really-
more too.
Yeah.
More with the henna stuff.
Yeah. Like, I don't associate that with the
This time
FOBAB
of-
season.
Yeah.
It just kind of whenever it comes out. Because one of their hennas came out the week of Beer in the Glass.
That's right.
Yeah. So, yeah. Those newer crews, they're like barrel aged season is all year.
Mm-hmm.
I get that feeling from them. And then other crews are more like your traditional FOBAB-ish drop.
Right. Oh, Imperial Pajamas, I think.
Oh, yeah.
All those
See?
pajama series. Those come out. I think they just came out, or they are about to come out.
I think you're right.
Because we went one year around this time.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. So yeah, there is quite a big lineup of if you want big beers.
There's no shortage.
Yeah. These Maplewood ones are good. This vanilla I think is better, but I do feel like they are almost too sticky.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if you spilled this beer, you would have ants like in 5 minutes. Like they would just swarm.
Tell me if we talked about this, but there's this weird guy I follow on FB that clearly used to work at Ale Syndicate, and he took Richie, their Imperial Porter, and now he works at Lagunitas. So he took the Richie, took it to Lagunitas, ran it through the lab, and he said it's got 1,500 calories in it.
What?
Yeah, and it wasn't even a full bomber. It was like a 16 to 18 ounce bottle.
Holy shit.
Yeah. But yeah, these are some heavy, dense ass beers, and it's not like they have what the calories are on them. So who the fuck knows? But yeah, these are very sturdy, very very rich, very heavy beers.
Yeah, and I feel like you're going. They're both 13. Both 13, and you're just gonna get drunk without realizing it because it feels like you're just drinking cake, kind of, or drinking a dessert.
Yeah, you're drinking a very boozy cocktail.
And then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like hits you. And these hit you like differently than getting drunk off of like a 12 pack of Bud Light or something. Cause you're like hopped up on sugar and you're like a weird, like almost like a sleepy drunk. Cause it's like a sugar coma kicking in. Wow. But they're tasty to have, especially in like smaller amounts. And
I don't think we stress how you have to share these beers enough. That should be stressed more on these cans. These are made for sharing. There's no one should be taking these to the face.
No, you shouldn't just like crack one open and watch whatever game is on for the night.
No. Have a slice of cake. Do not eat the whole cake. Do not eat the whole cake.
Damn. All right. Anything else?
No, man.
I feel like you caught me up pretty well.
How was Italy, man? You were gone. You were posting from breweries. You were posting from all over the place. It was geographic. It was National Geographic on your feed these last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it was good. Had a fair amount of beer, but for the most part was drinking wine.
There you go.
Got definitely sick of wine.
Really?
By the time we drank a lot of wine, and by the time we got to Rome, it's like we wanted cocktails, we wanted beer, anything else. In Milan, we're drinking like cocktails a little bit, but you're in Italy, you gotta drink wine.
It's true.
And their beer is like, Their beer's
Yeah, beer's not as good as wine.
Right. And it's almost like someone was like, yeah, don't make this beer too good because our wine is like real good. And if the beer is like too good, people might not drink this wine.
That's funny.
But I feel like there's just something, their craft beers, it could be the water, it could be their yeast, it could be whatever they're using. It just doesn't taste the same as like American beer. And maybe that's just my preference, but we're drinking wine most of the time.
Yeah.
And it was a good ride. It was fun.
I can dig it, man.
Yeah. I don't know. I brought home a bottle from Open Baladin, but you can get their stuff a little bit at Binny's.
They were one of the co-founders of Italy, I want to say, with Dogfish, I want to say.
Yeah, I think you can get their beers in Italy, which I forgot, but I brought a bottle back, so I'm sure we'll do a video here with it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a good time. I was a little jealous of all the stuff I was missing here, especially with the nice weather, but then again, there's good weather there and some good wine.
Yeah, and the thing about your thing is like, you'll go to FOBAB next year, but so if you got a choice between the two, you go where you went. I was looking at my pictures. Shout out to Old Irving, man. They did a collab with Smoke,
nice.
A little Northwest Side, 1-2 step there. It's a pale ale with Citra and Galaxy.
Nice.
Yeah, that they're doing with Smoke. And then there was something else I saw. Oh, yeah, we said shout out to Metro because they used, that's a Chicago-only collaboration that won a bronze medal at FOBAB. Justin and Moore, Chicago Distillery, Metropolitan, Chicago Brewery, took a gold medal for a Doppelbock.
Nice.
Generator Doppelbock. And that's tapping on December 1st.
Okay.
Yeah. So just wanted to shout them out.
Very cool. All right. Well, hopefully now that travels are done, and although the holidays are hitting here, episodes should be going up regularly, and we'll be back on a good schedule going into the new year.
Yeah, man. Cheers to Hot Butcher. Fell in there for a round.
Oh, right. The new Hot Butcher finally opened.
Yeah. So they have a beer called Roost. It's a clean beer, 6%.
Oh.
And it's just straight Centennial hop pale ale. And they said the reason they made it is because this is the beer that Half Acre was selling to bars before they technically had a license. They had their brand, but they didn't have a license. So you could get this on draft at like the Map Room and Hop Leaf and shit like that. So it's one of the first beers Half Acre sold, and then they came back and made it with Hot Butcher for the launch of
that's cool.
their space. So that's on draft.
It's just for the launch.
Yeah, and it's on draft and it's in cans, but it's a pub only purchase. You can only get it there.
Okay, cool.
So cheers to them.
Nice. All right, then that's gonna do it for this episode. Nick, where can people find you? Get in touch when we're not here.
Hey man, I'm on Twitter at Nicosio.
And I'm on Twitter at BRAD, Chicago Beer Pass, Instagram, Twitter, website, chicagobeerpass.com. Take care.
Cheers.